Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second game of this doubleheader between your Tufts University Jumbos and the Bowdoin Polar Bears. We are back at Spicer Field, and it is a beautiful day in Medford.
Yes, we see batting right now for Bowdoin. She was the 2024 NESCAC Player of the Year. Bowdoin star, the NESCAC star, with an OP with Fallon O'Connor on the mound for Tufts. Looks like it's going to be outside 2-1 count.
2-1 count now, as Fallon O'Connor delivers the fourth pitch of the game just outside. Fallon O'Connor takes over the work on the mound after Safita Coco has a characteristic complete game for the Jumbos, conceding only 3 through 7 innings of work. As that pitch misses outside and the first batter for the Polar Bears reaches via the free pass.
Yeah, walking is one of the many things that Ewart does so well. Last year with Bowdoin, she recorded
and they got her! Carrie Ann Slayton puts it right on the money at shortstop, and Haley Lime. Strike 2 catches the outside corner.
Fong Picciarello up to plate right now for Bowdoin.
333 with an OPS of 733 as that ball misses.
And that's helped her on base percentage get up to 400, which is one of the leaders on the team.
Strike 3. Ringer up. That ball catches the outside corner.
Good to see that from O'Connor. She has play in those tournaments in Georgia, Virginia, and Maryland. The team is also picking up with success.
Sophomore Elise.
NESCAC first team honors as a freshman, the only on the team to do so.
It's 3-0. Taken all the way on the 3-0. Takes that one. As that ball is slapped to the right side, we'll take a quick break and be back for the bottom half of the frame. And we're back as we get ready for the bottom half of the first inning. Your Tufts Jumbos batting lineup for today's game. Similar to the first, but a couple modifications here. We've got leading off Bella Jimenez, followed by Kaylin Harita, Carrie Ann Slayton, Heaven Oliva, Caitlin Perucci, Haley Limebach, the red-hot Kat Kawabe, Emma Tonys gets the start in Game 2, and Sarah Cullen.
Number 10, Bella Jimenez.
And we see today in the Bowdoin defense, at first base, that is Posey Panenka. At second is Penelope Feng Picciarello. At short, Elise Siciliano, who we talked about in the first inning. At third, we have Ellie Sullivan. And then in the outfield is Kyla Gary, Anika Ewart. Playing center field today, often an infielder, but she's out in the outfield. And in right field, Riley Parga. On the mound is Kathleen Hester. Kathleen was also a all-NESCAC second team as a freshman last year. Has struggled a little bit this year to replicate her fine form last year with a sub-3 ERA, but still a very reliable arm nonetheless.
Hester struggling to find the zone here early. Count is now 3-0 to Bella Jimenez. Takes the 3-0 for strike 1. Count now 3-1. Jimenez is off to a great start this year. Coming into the weekend, in 13 games started, she is slashing 359, 444, 359. As she works a walk, characteristically, when you see that slug and average as the same figure, that is characteristic of an on-base oriented hitter. Perfect for the leadoff slot, and she proves up, fitting that mold here in the start of this one as she works the walk to start the game.
So a great season for Jimenez, especially considering she's a grad her previous form in her final year.
Standing in now is Lauren Harita, who got bumped up to the 2 slot after hitting in the 5-hole last game. Break 1 of the at-bat. She went 4 for 4 this season's out of the inning.
Harita runs and is able to take second on the defensive indifference there. It's a really good heads-up play.
That the Jumbos. Now up to the plate for the Jumbos, Carrie Ann Slayton as she takes strike 1.
Carrie Ann.
2, so the count is now 0-2 with 1 out and a runner on second. In the
Switches teeth,
Harita.
but through a little bit of defensive indifference on the previous play and a wild pitch there, she's able to get all the way to third.
As that ball is laced right at the third baseman. Nice job by Harita diving back headfirst into third base to avoid getting doubled off. As that'll go for the second out of the inning. Standing in now for this one, way fast. 1 run be scored with 2 outs.
And it's interesting that did happen in the first game. Double header there. They lost had trouble pitching in these clutch situations and trying to keep the...
Definitely the person you want up here for the Jumbos. She's boasting an .842 slug. As that ball is right on cue, laced into left field.
15th RBI in the year. Next most for Tufts is Rosie Steinberg left. Oliva, her OPS 1321 in the year, and that's only going to go up now.
Now technically having her worst season by the numbers, which is pretty crazy as she's still hitting .360. We're talking about a career after Harita's big first game today.
Ferrucci, it's interesting putting her at this spot in the order. Last year, she was the RBI queen for Tufts. She was able to knock in 46 runs last year, which led the entire NESCAC. So back taking advantage of all sections of the field, and she can do that at this 5th spot in the order.
As that ball misses down in the dirt, nice job keeping it in front. That's the backstop, Maddie Patchke, for the Polar Bears. Count is full. And that one is chopped foul to the right side, so we'll do it again, and runners will be expected to be in motion here with a full count and 2 outs. Hester takes the sign, comes set. So that ball misses narrowly inside to the chagrin of some Polar Bear fans here in attendance. As Ferrucci takes her
team, another player in the middle of the order.
To the netting. Linebuck has started all 14 games this season for the Jumbos and has been improving with the bat, which has been nice to see. Slashing .295, .326, .341 in 44 ABs. Hits it to the right side, so almost made the adjustment, but then couldn't quite make this. Batter's box. The 1-2 delivery misses just inside as Lineback hits one up the middle at the shortstop, who flips to second for the fielder's choice. And that will we'll take a quick break and be back in the top of the second inning. The right fielder Riley Parga stands in to lead off the inning for the Polar Bears, and she swings and misses at a nice sinking pitch in the dirt. Good start to the inning for Fallon O'Connor as she
altogether, the 433 average, 1300 OPS. Unfortunately for Bowdoin, she was held. She's quickly down 0-2.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Sebastian. Seeing a 1.3 OPS out of a freshman is certainly a big get for a pro now hitting in the 4-hole in her freshman year campaign.
Yeah, and as we've referenced, Bowdoin really likes these freshmen, putting them into the lineup, into the pitching staff immediately, which is something that Tufts doesn't do all that often.
Hiring the first batter at the top of the second inning.
Bowdoin with a 344 average, 8
Side edge, catches the corner for strike one.
Fado did not play in game one, which is very
nice off-speed pitch. Gets a swing and a miss as Fallon O'Connor, 0-2 count, looks at her wrist for the sign and delivers the pitch. Nice chase pitch on. Ooh, 1-2 delivery. Get it for her battery mate. Base coach, so maybe they're picking something up on Fallon. Tallies her second strikeout of the game, and there are 2 outs here in the top of the second.
Number 20, Rosie Panenka.
We saw the interest higher, but she was able to get right back into that momentum and keep up where she left off in the first inning.
First delivery to Rosie Panenka. Catches the zone for strike one. Nice to see Fallon O'Connor pumping in first pitch strikes, always something coaches like to see. Good for efficiency and longevity. Panenka on the year, another freshman who's been a big contributor to this Polar Bears lineup, has started 12 of 13 games, hitting for a 257 average. Swings through that one, maybe got a little piece of it, but the count is now 1-2.
Again, this is so great to see from Fallon O'Connor, this real degree of command early on. This is her 6th start of the season, it's already looking like her best.
That ball is dribbled softly to the first baseman, who handles it easily. Nice play by Caitlin Perucci, and another 1-2-3 efficient inning for Fallon O'Connor.
No hits, no runs.
No hits, no runs,
and no runners.
1 strikeout. We'll go to a quick break and be back in the bottom of the second.
Due up for
And we're back here in the
1 hit and 2 RBI hit in the. I was beginning to make a point earlier about that being a contrast between Bowdoin and Tufts.
by Co-op.
Yeah, that's great to see from co-op players as freshmen over the years. Looks like she was started to head to second base.
And it's a nice bunt. This game does a nice job advancing Kat Kawabe to second base. Good heads-up baseball that the Jumbos like to see, especially for a hitter that is just averaging 170.
That play already coming forward as the pitch was thrown in, so it was easy for her to make that play.
Looking like the Bows are going to play some small ball here in the bottom of the second and try to push another run across.
Yeah, the corners are.
As that pitch, she pulls back and it misses just off the outside edge. Yes, just 440. You wonder, Sebastian, if these bunt attempts are Helen.
Yeah, it's a good point you're making there, Matt. When your pitcher dealing with another step, the possibility of a sacrifice in the runner being moved further there.
Well, it pays off in the Jumbo's favor as Sarah Cullen worked
With the walk, now that sets up the force at second. and a double play opportunity rather than just.
Not only that, Sebastian Bornia. This is the hitter the Jumbos want up in this situation with 2 ducks on the pond here and 1 out in the bottom of the second. Jimenez steps out of the box and takes some words of advice from her head coach, Lauren Epstein, down the third. And Kathleen Hester is finding herself in a bit of
pitches. Pretty high number.
And boy, oh boy, the last person you want waiting in the on-deck. So that ball is hit down the left field line, ranging over his left fielder, but it'll go foul, and the count is now full. Front, but appears to be seeing it well. Jimenez has been hitting well as of late. Bounce off the wall. Bit of confusion around the bases for the Jumbos. Jumbo's toying with the Polar Bears a little bit on the bases. Confusion around the bases there with Sarah Cullen kind of hesitating as she rounded second. Maybe prevented her from scoring on that one. But nonetheless, it's first and third.
With Cullen on third base, had Bowdoin thrown into first and try to get her out, that would have been opening up the opportunity for Cullen to come home and score.
Yeah, this is exactly what we're seeing here, is they're going to put themselves for the second out of the inning. So, Sebastian, exactly what you were describing at the end of that last play, the Jumbos try to do on the first pitch of Lauren Harita's at-bat as Bella Jimenez stops between first and second on that steal attempt, but backfires, and the Jumbos now find themselves with 1 fewer runner on and an extra out. As that ball is grounded up the middle, past the diving shortstop, Jimenez gets the stop sign. I've seen over at third base, so.
And we saw shortstop Ellie Siciliano got her glove on that, which stopped the ball a little bit, sort of out in shallow center field. Potentially, she hadn't gotten her glove on it, it would have gone all the way out to center fielder Annika Ewert, and that would have potentially opened up the opportunity for Jimenez to score. So even though she wasn't able to make the play, she still had a positive impact for Bowdoin right there.
Jumbos takes ball 1. She's 0 for 1 thus far in this one. As the off-speed pitch misses in the lefty batter's box. Count is now 2-0 for the Jumbos 3. The 2-0 delivery misses inside around the shoelaces. Count is now 3-0. Curious to see what he thinks, Sebastian. Does she have the green light in this situation?
She stays put.
Yeah, you're all over it. Staying put and taking, so. Count is now 3-1.
And it is worth noting walks in 45 innings. So despite a pretty solid ERA there on the strikeout.
Out to the mound to talk with her sophomore.
So you have to wonder what Coach Burton is saying to her pitcher right now, because we see that she still has a lot of what makes her such a exciting presence on the mound, but the command problems have just been a little bit worse than usual with the walk so far today. She's had a couple. So do you think she's trying to get the ball just over the plate and try to get the ball in play more? Potentially
pitcher out there, but also probably game planning for Heaven Oliva, who is posting an .842 slug on the year. So 5 homers in the young season. So with the bases juiced, this is not what you want if you're a Bowdoin fan.
Yeah, those 5 homers, that leads the NESCAC. So despite difficulties that Tufts has had as a team so far in their preseason or early season tournaments, Oliva has just been mashing the ball.
The 1-1 delivery to the imposing power hitter is an off-speed pitch that misses up in the zone.
Strike away from that run coming in via the walk.
Heaven Oliva is licking her lips at this hitter's count now. 3-1, bases loaded, the delivery. Misses outside, she'll take the RBI on the free pass.
And you have to wonder right there if that is something like the famous intentional walk of Barry Bonds by Buck Showalter back in the day with the bases low. What happened there with that at bat to Oliva?
Yeah, I wonder if 5 home runs in the NESCAC garners you the Bonds treatment or not. But
At this point in the season,
as Hester desperately tries to work her way out of the bases loaded jam situation, and what would have been a great play over there by Rosie Panenka at first, just barely with the bases loaded and 2 away. That if Perucci's able to come through for her team here, that foul ball is going to be something that really that will hurt for. And right on cue they are, as that ball is laced into left field. Getting the stop sign over at third base is Carrie Ann.
when you hit the ball hard like that, it's going to get to the left fielder very quickly. And so we saw the Bowdoin left fielder was able to rocket that ball right in, and that meant that Sladen
Leimbach, who stands in now boasting a .295 average on the season. She takes ball 1 up in the zone, maybe hit a little bit of a, or maybe she was just kicking around the dirt to get it more comfortable. Jumbos have 4 hits this inning and 3 runs. They have the bases for exactly what Kathleen Hester needs as she's trying to work out of this second inning jam.
Yeah, we've seen so many of those pitches from her. That was a faster pitch, but we've seen a lot of off-speed pitches too that come outside, clearly trying to paint that outside corner and just gone a little bit too far. Pitches like that right there. Situation.
Starting to think Hester was not giving the Bonds treatment and is actually just struggling to find the zone. That ball is grounded to second base. Bottom of the second, the score is 4-0. We will go to a quick break and be back in the top of the third.
Due up for
And we're back here in the top of the third as the Jumbos lead 4-0 after hanging a crooked number on the Polar Bears in the bottom of the second. Standing in now.
In play. She watches the pitch come in a little bit low.
That pitch is caught a piece outside. Count now 2-2. Sebastian, nice to see a lot of basketball team. I think we got a couple other teams.
Yeah, absolutely great to see the fan support here. The game was, of course, up a little bit. Still a very nice early
ski. She comes into today with a 2.
Has spot right in to their starting lineup.
As it rolls in the direction of the Tufts for Bowdoin and the roll foul as well. Sebastian, Fallon is an intimidating name for a pitcher out there. I really like it. As a Pittsburgh native myself, one of our your ace out there, but I think Fallon O'Connor is pretty sick.
He walk some reverse psychology action.
Not able to be secured. Not something catchers can really practice, but we did see Jumbo's backstop.
Yeah, it was another frame.
As yet again, that one.
Still only 1 ball in this count. Bowdoin working up the pitch count of Fallon O'Connor, getting her just a little. So that one is in the dirt some more, and we'll need another pitch to keep this at-bat going.
Good work by Slayton there behind the plate, keeping that one in front and preventing the run. The count is now full.
Yeah, this is really well ball move for a freshman, as that ball is booted. Bat for her.
Yeah, nice at-bat there by Patch. Third base as a leave. People in on the infield.
Yeah, that right field is entirely open. Infield on the right side, she has completely open green grass out there.
And it's interesting because Kyla Gary, the senior, is hitting 3, maybe pulling back and swinging away as she has that entire right side of the field. The pitcher beats it down the line. Fallon
Exactly sure what the ideal was running down to get that play, to get that lead runner out at third.
And now with nobody out and the bases loaded, head coach Lauren Epstein is going to go out and have a conversation with her team, try to slow things down. The Jumbos are playing with a 4-run lead, but could slip quickly now as of alignment that the Jumbos are running. Candidly, I'm not entirely sure whether this is conventional or atypical, but it looks like they're going to put out 5.
Leaving these massive holes. Leaving the hole in right field, leaving all of right field open, and leaving the whole third base area open, which is, again, an interesting choice. We do see right field being taken care of, but left field and center field are playing way in, almost on the infield dirt.
Stands in with an OPS over 1 dot. So, again, a really solid hitter here with the bases loaded, and the Jumbos are playing her.
And the best hitter in the region, and one of the best in the...
Misses the outside corner. And doing a good job. This is what good catchers do. They build rapport with umpires, work there. As that ball is hit, and the shallow outfield plays to the Jumbos, and that'll bring up number 17, Penelope Fong-Picriello.
Yard player like Ewert like that is just fantastic for Tufts in this inning.
So maybe the Jumbos and that defensive alignment played to perfection. They had that played perfectly. If they were back like they are on this play, that undoubtedly would have fallen shallow in the outfield grass and likely plated 1 or maybe 2 runs. So
for sure, yeah.
This is why we are wearing headsets and not coaching a successful program. To make the play over there is Caitlin Perucci. Nice job by Bell. It's now 4-1. And looks like the hedge, any idea what he's talking about here is the umpires are going to congregate and have a little conversation about this.
Sullivan making some hand gestures. Looked like maybe he was implying some and confirm the out.
Call over at first base. Looks like the toss beat the batter by about a half. Regardless, there are now 2 outs and 2 on for a leaders
at Bowdoin for this. Not to go on to the middle of the third inning with.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, here in the bottom of the third. Standing in to lead off the inning for the Jumbos after making a nice ranging play to get out of the last inning in right field is number 27, Kat Kawabe. Kawabe stands in 1 for 1 on the day. She did score after her previous hit. So in the infield, camping under it is Elise Siciliano, and she will make the play.
Yeah, swinging first pitch there, in tracking, but we saw that right there, and it ended in a pop-out.
Yeah, it's always nice to see a hitter have an approach and stick to it, so maybe Kat Kawabe was hunting that first pitch. She got it and took a hack. Working throughout this game, I maybe would have liked to see the leadoff hitter try to do the same. And
Emma Toney's at the plate, not swinging first pitch, not swinging second pitching, seeing 2 pitches inside and outside, both go for balls as the count goes to 2-0. Another one outside there, 3-0 now, and just like that, Hester's control problems seem to continue to be chasing her.
Yeah, you wonder if Kat Kawabe is looking at this from the dugout and maybe wishing she had taken a couple pitches, kind of letting Hester off the hook easy by swinging at that first one as she now who squared to bunt and successfully laid down a bunt in her last at-bat. Wonder if this could be a situation to... Sebastian, I wonder, is that something that infielders read by about 5 or 6 inches along the bat? So I wonder if that's something a third baseman keeps an eye on to maybe.
Like, for example, right there, the Bowdoin first baseman, Rosie Panenka, we saw her in here with the same grip on the bat, not charging this time.
In softball, I guess there is the added dimension of that kind of runnings. Definitely indicates that not going to take a full hack at it. As there, this time she does square that pitch in the dirt and blocked nicely by Maddie Patchke.
Here. Imagine she's not going to show bunt this time, although hands are still pretty far apart on the bat. She does show bunt. You send the runner here?
1 out. Left side, nice piece of 2-strike hitting there by Sarah Cullen. As she
Situation to make something happen. This time through a single, you see a lot of that with walks on full counts today, and just continuing to work Hester down.
Bella Jimenez, as she takes strike 1 to start off her third at-bat of the, it's like a golden retriever and what's the other breed? Do you have that? Maybe a Sheepadoodle?
Some sort of doodle, I don't know.
Is having a strong day thus far, 1 for 1 with a walk, also has scored and played it an RBI.
So a little bit of motion from the runners there, a little more than usual.
Yeah, that fastball misses up in the zone. Nice take by Jimenez. Count is now 2-2 with 1 out and 2 on here in the bottom of the third. Again, the Jumbos lead 4-1. And on deck is Lauren Harita, who was 4 for 4 in the first one today. As that ball, catch some chalk, is foul. Just missed the right field foul line by about 8 feet maybe. Nice job by Jimenez, staying alive, squaring one up. We'll redo the 2-2 delivery.
Interesting to note Jimenez's batting stance. She really stands pretty crouched there and already not a particularly tall player. So it doesn't come across like this super imposing presence at the plate, but it clearly has been successful for her because I think it really allows her to push that ball to right field, which she does so successfully.
Yeah, both crouched and rather open. Definitely a bit of an unconventional stance, but hey, it works for her. She is very successful, has been one of the best hitters really in recent. Is caught, and the runners are not tagging and are going to be doubled off. So some unfortunate base running for the Jumbos. So the Jumbos strand 1 on 2 hits and score no runs here. And we're back now in the top of the 4th. Riley Parga leads it off for the Polar Bears. She delivers her 60th pitch of the afternoon to her name thus far. She's conceded just 2 hits and 1 walk, allowed 1 run, and has punched out 2 hitters, so a good day. As that ball is laced hard into left center, it'll roll quickly to the wall. Parga rounding first, heading to second, a stand-up double to lead off the inning. For number 4, Riley Parga, the freshman. Good start to this top of the 4th for Bowdoin.
Now batting number 5, the DP, Caitlin Fado.
Great movement on that pitch right there. Looked like it was going to be outside and then just exterior.
Ooh. Really liking this sequence from Fallon O'Connor here. As you mentioned, that first pitch, pretty nasty, and the second one equally as gross, so lots of direction she can go here As she's got Caitlin Fado in the hole 0-2 and swinging a miss in the dirt, man. That'll go on the highlight reel for Fallon O'Connor. 1, 2, 3. Really, really nice sequence of pitches there.
Oh, yeah, that was beautifully done.
The first baseman,
We
number
saw
20,
Bowdoin in the last inning
Rosie
starting to get to her a
Panenka.
little bit, working her down a little bit, and then Parga on the first pitch of this inning taking her into the gap in left center, but then she was immediately able to kind of recenter herself with some beautiful off-speed action, some incredible movement on the outside part of the plate to the right-handed hitter, as that one just misses, trying to keep up that same type of pitch from the last at-bat. Unfortunately, just put a little bit too much on it.
Carrie-Ann Slayton again trying to buy her sophomore battery, made a strike, having a little conversation with the umpire into the defense, and Carrie-Ann Slayton plays the catcher position well. She took over the role as the everyday backstop. Last year was kind of her first season being the everyday starter behind the plate, and did so really nicely, and she's continuing on that again in her senior season. As the 2-1 is tapped foul off the end of the bat, it'll now be 2-2 with 1 out and 1 on here on second base.
Been able to crack the zone, sometimes hasn't from O'Connor, but has not normally been chased at. Well, check swing right there. And
Perucci and Jimenez, they've made that play nicely throughout this game. I think that's the second or third time, as that's the second out of this inning.
however, Parga does move up to third. So with 2 outs, a good opportunity for Bowdoin to get an extra run in.
Ellie Sullivan laces one into left field, and that will do just that. Plates the second run of the game for the Bowdoin Polar Bears. Nice piece of hitting there on the first pitch she sees there by the sophomore out of Brunswick, Maine, Ellie Sullivan.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing Bowdoin have their success in the early part of the count, especially on the first pitch today. We saw the hit from Parga and from Sullivan there, which is sort of the opposite of what's been going on with Tufts, where it seems like every at-bat has gone to 7, 8, 9 pitches, really working down their starter, Kathleen Hester.
Yeah, really nice point, Sebastian. There is an interesting kind of duality between these two teams, at least in the way they've played today. Tufts scoring most of their runs late in innings, late in counts, working long ABs. Also, a bit of an older squad. Bowdoin has a lot of young players in their lineup, swinging early. Obviously, I'm not suggesting that there's any correlation between those different variables, but just interesting to note kind of the stylistic differences in terms of how these two ball clubs play. The 1-1, excuse me, misses outside, so it will now be 2-1. Tufts' lead has shrunk to just 2 runs. It's 4-2 now in the top of the 4th. As that ball is slapped and catches the third base bag, bouncing over, and there's going to be a play at third base, and they got her. Putting on the tag is Heaven Oliva. Give Harita the outfield assist, as a huge play at third base for the Jumbos will end the inning in strand 2. So after 2 hits and 2 stranded, 1 run scored, it is now 4-2 Tufts in the middle of the 4th. We'll take a quick break and be back for the Tufts half of the inning in a few moments. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here in the bottom of the 4th. Tufts leads Bowdoin 4-2 as Lauren Harita stands in for the heart of the order for Tufts. It'll be 2-3-4 as the flaming hot Harita leads things off and takes a slow off-speed pitch, floating in there for strike 1.
Now batting for the Jumbos, number Lauren Harita.
As that ball is skied out to center field, ranging back as the center fielder. She will make the play nicely as Harita gives it a ride, but is retired.
Yeah, that was Harita's trademark home run swing out there. Get the ball deep in the air, deep into the outfield. Just not quite enough to send it over that 220 mark out there in left center.
Standing in now for the Jumbos is Carrie-Ann Slayton. She, coming into the day, has a 675 OPS. She's been playing a really nice catcher today, doing a good job working with Fallon O'Connor, working along the home plate umpire. Just, it's been really a pleasure to watch her play her position behind the plate. She takes the first pitch for a ball and takes the second one in the dirt as well. So it's now 2-0. She's in the driver's seat looking to get things started here for the Jumbos in the bottom of the fourth.
Ooh.
Little extra on that one there from Hester. She pumps a fastball in for strike one.
Yeah, she caught Slayton chasing up and away. Not something that we've seen a ton of from Tufts so far.
As that pitch is fouled off, out of play to the right side. Count is now 2-2 for the Tufts three-hitter. Nice crowd in attendance today. Nice to feel the energy from Tufts Athletics, seeing our very storied men's lacrosse team practice and baseball team taking on Bates and what was also kind of a rescheduled last-minute converted doubleheader. I think this is all in an attempt to, the rescheduling of baseball and softball in an attempt to miss imminent bad weather this weekend. So
Yeah, you can already feel it getting considerably colder over the course of this game.
as that ball is laced right at the shortstop, that is Elise Siciliano, who drops down to a knee to make a nice play.
Didn't have to move an inch, Siciliano did right there to catch that one. Great contact on that line drive, but just unfortunately to a not effective spot.
Tufts third baseman Heaven Oliva stands in now.
See, Hester has a chance for her first 1-2-3 inning of the day. The first pitch wasn't looking too promising for those prospects, but we'll see what she can do here.
Yeah, Hester's definitely settled in command-wise. Holy cow. As Oliva jumps all over that one, caught a lot of barrel, but just way out in front of an off-speed pitch. She sits back on that. That is hit very hard. But yeah, Kathleen Hester has settled into this game nicely. As you mentioned, has the chance of her first 1-2-3 inning of the game. All things considered, with 6 hits for the Jumbo, she's limited damage. We saw Oliva come up earlier with the bases loaded and were able to mitigate the damage then, so did a good job pitching out of a couple jams.
Great movement on that one on the inside half of the plate. However, just looks like couldn't curve back in enough to get it over the plate. And the count will go to 3-1 here against Oliva, hoping to be Tufts' first base runner of the inning.
That ball is skied high. Catch some wind. Get out of here, Heaven Oliva. Takes Kathleen Hester deep with 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth. That wall scraper barely gets over the Jumbo's logo on the left field wall. It's a solo shot for Oliva.
That's number 6 on the year for Oliva. She just continues to mash the ball. There's really no stopping her. And we saw last year, we saw Harita really be the one to hitting home run after home run. She's still hitting home runs now, but now we've got Oliva joining her, hitting tanks, leading the NESCAC.
Man, what a year it's been for the sophomore Heaven Oliva. As you mentioned, that's her 6th homer of the season, which leads the conference. And we're only 14 games into this young season. That one I really did not think had a chance of getting out off the bat. Got a lot of loft under it, up in the air. I guess looking out now that at that flagpole out in center field, looks like we do have some pretty heavy winds out to center field, left center, which probably helped that one. Got a lot of loft under it, but just kept carrying and barely made it over the wall.
Yeah, it looked like she got under it right off the bat, but maybe a bit of seeing it wrong, maybe a little bit of luck from the wind, who knows, but whatever it was just enough from the softball gods to bring that ball over the yellow line out there.
Yeah, it's definitely a sign of a true power threat when you can hit a home run without getting all of the barrel. You know, I mean, there are guys in the MLB that can hit home runs when they really square one up, and then there are others that can have mishits that end up 10 rows deep, and maybe Heaven Oliva is just that type of hitter in her sophomore season, already hitting 6 home runs, and that one did not look like it was getting out. As that one is hit pretty well out to left field and lands just inside the baseline, trying to stretch this one into a double and sliding in safely as a nice piece of hitting there by Caitlin Perucci, and good aggressive base running, legs out a double.
Yeah, it was a bold choice from the Tufts first base coach to send her there. Now, Perucci, of course, is a speedy player, but yeah, definitely that was just kind of almost like a little blue pit in the air that found a pocket in left field, and she was just able to make it into second base safely.
As that ball is hit hard, and that will get down. Perucci rounds a collision with Leimbach over at first base, who pause here as Haley Leimbach collided with Rosie Panenka over at first base as she was rounding the bag. She's getting help by athletic training staff. That ball was hit really well down the right field line. Was going to be a double. Looked like it squirted into the bullpen, and the right fielder put her hands up.
She's calling for a ground rule double out there, but looks like Leimbach did not realize what had happened with the play there and was going full speed for second. The miscommunication.
Yeah, so I think however they work this out, whether it's a ground rule double or based on the collision, Leimbach's going to end up on second base. But right now the concern here is for her health as she's smiling and jogging it off, which is nice to see, and we'll get a big applause from the audience. Great to see. So Haley Leimbach plates Caitlin Perucci on a double down the right field line.
Yeah, great to see her staying in the game at second base. She looked pretty shooken up after that collision, but she was able to shake it off.
Senior Lindsay Newman jogging off to relieve Leimbach of the duties of running the bases after that collision.
Number 15, Ava Biasotti.
And in the meantime, we are getting of New Canaan, Connecticut.
So this will be Biascotti's first pitching appearance of the season, finally relieving Hester after a very complicated day of work for her.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think this will be her first outing of the year. She's listed as a utility player, so maybe the kind of player that Bowdoin feels like they can kind of slot in all parts of the field, bring it in situations like this. But the more important narrative is Tufts 2-out hitting. It's something, there are a couple 2-out outs. The third baseman calling for it. It's now 6-2 Jumbos after the 4th inning. We'll be back at the top of the 5th after a quick break. Stay tuned.
We have a new pitcher on for Tufts. If you're just joining us or if you've been with us so far on the broadcast, this is number 18, Lacey Chillick. Chillick is a senior out of Texas on the team. We've seen some pitching from her so far this year. 6 games happened this year in her 16 innings. 12 earned runs, which gives her a 5.14 ERA and a 2.02 WHIP. A big part of that is the 16 walks she's had in 16 innings, so we'll be watching her control as she pitches today.
The left side, but foul. Again, Heaven playing in about 15 feet in front of that third base bag, tight to the line. But yeah, good day for Fallon O'Connor. She goes 4 innings with 3 strikeouts. So a good line for O'Connor. And now eager to see how Chillick can. That ball is slapped through the unique defensive alignment of the Jumbos. Sometimes come to that ball to get through the hole.
Yeah, it did. Maybe if she was deeper, there wouldn't really have been a possibility of a double, but you never know. Just having the player play further in gives the ball less room to work with out there.
That will flip the order for Bowdoin. Third time through the lineup. Now it's Annika Ewert. She stands in.
Got a couple hits in the first game today, as she normally does. Again, she's hitting over 500 on the year, which is just absurd. Tufts has been able to keep her in check.
That pitch misses low and away. Aggressive secondary on that one from Kyla Gary, maybe trying to. So, in the first 2 batters she faces, Lacey Chillick concedes a hit and a walk, and she finds herself to the plate. The 2-hitter for Bowdoin, Penelope Fong-Picriac. Stop.
See Bowdoin again trying to get something happening early in the innings, early in the counts, and play with not very many outs, if any, in an inning. With a quick jam.
That ball fouled over. Nice job staying alive there. Fouls back the 1-2 delivery.
First 2-strike count for Chillick so far in this inning. This could be a big first out if she's able.
Is up in the zone. Count is now 2-2. 2 ducks on the pond here. Nobody out. Bowdoin trails 4, looking to put together a big inning here in the top of the 5th. As she retires the first out of this inning, and it's the 2-hitter. That brings up Elise Siciliano, the shortstop, sophomore out of Shrewsbury, Mass.
With no damage at all, if they can get a ground ball to the right spot. First pitch does miss.
As you mentioned, starting to feel it a little.
Yeah, I'm doing a little shaking here to keep myself warm, you know. The 1-1. Another opportunity for a big out from Chillick, as she's looking pretty confident, pretty collected, pitching with runners on base.
Yeah, she's a senior. She's been in these types of situations, has strung together a couple of good seasons on the mound for the Jumbos, and she does it again. So after putting the first 2 batters on, 2 and 3 hitters in this Bowdoin lineup, now she faces the 4-hitter, Riley Parga, the freshman, as she tries to work out of what was an early inning jam. Starts off strong as Parga swings through a fastball up and away for strike 1.
It's back-to-back swings and misses there. We saw it for that strikeout that was kind of down in the way, a nasty pitch down near the dirt, swing and miss, and up and away there. She also had the caught looking on an up and away in the previous at-bat. She's definitely finding her way out there, as that one does miss out.
That pitch misses down. Sebastian, I see Lacey Chillick, and this is something we saw Fallon O'Connor doing a bit earlier in the game, looking into her dugout and then looking at the wrist. Is that where she's getting these pitch calls from, or?
I would imagine so.
I think that is. Sometimes you see the head coach relay it to the catcher, and then they'll relay it, but seems like Chillick is getting it right from her dugout, and it seems to be working as she gets out of this one. That pop fly secured out in right field for the third out of the inning, so after the first two runners reach, the Jumbos are able to strand both. So after one hit and two.
Number 15, Emma Tonys.
All right, we are chugging right along as we are already into the bottom of the fifth after a quick between-inning break. It's now Emma Tonys who stands in for her third AB of the game, and she takes strike one on a fastball down the middle. This is a 15 versus 15 matchup in Tonys versus Bisadi, that in jersey numbers, that is. We've seen Tonys come up, Tonys and Cullen, who's hitting behind her, come up several times in this game with runners on, which is nice to see across all tiers of the lineup. So she slaps one down the right side hard. That just
Ball the other way like that right there in this fifth inning. And we'll go again, 1-2 count.
Rounded to the shortstop, who fields it cleanly. And by Asadi quickly retired. Jumbos now is sophomore utility player Sarah Cullen.
Started showing bunt there, though pulling back as that pitch came.
One catches her, looks like right in the ribs.
That's a rough spot.
Maybe it got the elbow guard, but
As we were just mentioning, she has a ton of speed out there. In the past, she has been a kind of designated runner for Tufts coming into the games late when some more speed is needed on the bases.
another reason it's bad to put Sarah Cullen on base is because it flips the order to Bella Jimenez, grad student. Cullen getting in that sprinter, tries to put her in motion here, get some things going with one out in this inning. As pitch number 2 of the AB misses upstairs. Count now 2-0 to Bella Jimenez. Sebastian, do you know the story behind all the stickers on the helmets? Is it kind of like an Ohio State Buckeyes type thing where they...
I prefer to think of that as a Michigan Wolverines type thing.
Oh, sure. I guess.
But it's probably like that.
That ball is laced into right center field. It'll go as a double as Bella Jimenez is into second base standing. Nice piece of hitting and puts up the double celly into the dugout. Jumbos have life here in the bottom of the fifth with 2 on and only 1 out.
Yeah, continuing a great multi-hit performance from Jimenez. As you mentioned, she's been one of the key players on Tufts this year after a down year last year, just having an amazing twilight campaign for her college career. And now second and third, only 1 out. Great opportunity for Tufts to add to their lead.
As that ball is hit well out to left field, tagging up is Cullen, but she bluffs put out to left field for Lauren Harita.
Yeah, that was smart from Cullen and the Tufts coaching staff, keeping her there so that ball rocketed in from left field.
Yeah, that's Fado out there. She has a good arm, so would have been an aggressive tag, especially with the heart of your order up and 2 on. Don't want to make the last out of the inning on the bases.
We've already seen Tufts do that today with that double play we had a few innings ago with the 8-4 put out, or the 8-4 double play.
I've seen both teams do that because Tufts had that outfield assist that was really nice over at third base. So
that's right, yeah.
Both teams learning from their mistakes. As that ball is laced into left center and 1 hop, 2 hops the wall. Nice piece of hitting there by Carrie-Ann Slayton. Plates 2. An RBI double in the bottom of the fifth extends the Jumbos' lead now 8-2.
Yeah, beautiful way to split the gaps out there. Textbook extra base hit exactly what you need to do when you got runners on second and third. Get the ball out there. Saw the left fielder running out towards it into left center, but she really knew she was not going to be able to get there. One hop the wall. Bread and butter.
And also, it affirms that decision to put the stop sign on by head coach Lauren Epstein on the previous play, as an out on the bases would have prevented that double. The inning now ends, as that is a ground out by Heaven Oliva over to the shortstop, but the Jumbos are able to plate 2 on that RBI double by Carrie Ann Slayton, so the lead is now 8-2. We'll take a quick break and be back in the top of the 6th. Stay with us. And we're back. Thanks for sticking with us here. Or if you're just joining us, the Jumbos lead 8-2 now in the top of the 6th inning. Temperatures are dropping, but spirits are remaining high in Medford, Mass.
Number 16, Sarah Lang.
See, Sydney Lang, Tufts PA announcer calling her Sarah there. Sydney Lang coming out to pinch hit. She did start in game 1 of the doubleheader today. It started today on the bench as she swings through that one, and the count goes 2-1-1.
Yeah, nice little change of speeds there by Lacey Chillick.
Yeah, Lang started at catcher and batting cleanup in game 1 today. Unfortunately, she finished 0 for 3 with 2 runners left on base, so she got the bulk of this game off, but is back in now and has a 2-1 count against Lacey Chillick.
Yeah, that's something you'll see often. Catchers splitting time on double headers just to get some rest. Definitely the most strenuous position on the field is that ball. Oh! Absolute web gem out in center field for the Jumbos. What a play out there. That's Lindsay Newman.
The first baseman, number 20, Rosie Panenka.
What a diving play. Maybe see that one on ESPN later for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, that was a beautiful piece of contact off the bat from Sydney Lang out into center field. Looked like it was just a perfect single to open the door in the inning. But Newman came on. Beautiful sliding play coming forward and was able to make the catch. Rosie Panenka is now at the plate. She has an 0-1 count.
As that ball is hit Newman's way again, this time it'll fall and 3-hop into her glove, so it'll be a single for Panenka. Nice piece of hitting. Seems like Bowdoin is getting on Chillick a little more as they tag 2 barrels into center field. The first one caught again by a beautiful play by Newman. We're going to see a pinch runner here over at first base, tagging in for Panenka. That is number 15. Excuse me, that is number 13, Ella Davies.
Davies also came in as a pinch runner in the game earlier today, scored a run there, doing her job.
Fans pinch running for the Polar Bears, number 13, Davies.
And this is common in collegiate softball, where we have these players whose primary contribution to the team is on the base paths.
One thing I will say about being a designated or
Now batting for the Polar
designated
Bears,
pinch
number 5,
runner
Ellie
is
Sullivan.
when that's your primary focus, you really put all your heart towards running the bases. You run aggressively. It's where you put your energy. So definitely a threat to steal, a threat to take extra bases, especially now as the time is ticking on Bowdoin for this one. They have 5 outs to play with here.
Try to salvage something out of this trip to Medford.
The 0-2 delivery is fouled back, so Ellie Sullivan stays alive to see another pitch.
Yeah, so that was kind of a off-speed pitch and moving away from her towards the left side of the plate. Just barely caught the end of the bat to keep her alive as she tapped the ball over to the right side.
That one is fouled back our way. Almost caught off the netting by Carrie-Ann Slayton, which would have been a nice bit of entertainment for the fans, but obviously would not have counted off the net. But
The friendly golden retriever over there looked like he really wanted that ball. Felt bad for him.
oh, man. I bet they would tear up a softball.
I don't think they know the what a fence and a net is, but
You don't think? I bet dogs could figure out nets.
I mean, I don't know. My dog's an idiot, so I don't think he could do it.
I know they see the world a bit differently. I wonder how nets factor into that. There's another dog over there. Look at that.
They're multiplying. Aw, it's like a lab puppy over there.
Lots of cute dogs out here today.
And a massive dog over there. Look at that. Looks like a horse. Up by the lacrosse field.
The 1-2 delivery misses a little upstairs. Count worked to 2-2. Ellie Sullivan, a 276 hitter on the year with an 806 OPS, very formidable. Had 4 RBIs coming into this one and looking to get things going for the Polar Bears. Strike 3, the cutter on the inside edge. She doesn't like it, but that was definitely there. It'll be the second out of the inning.
Yeah, down and in with that one.
Catcher number 10,
Caught looking.
Maddie
Second
Kowski.
caught looking from this pitcher since she's been brought into the game from Chillick. And first on the inside half of the plate. We haven't seen so much of that today. It's been a lot more pitching away from these right-handed hitters, catching them either looking or getting them to chase on the ball away.
As that ball is crushed out to right field, but ranging back. Didn't have quite as much on it as I thought initially off the bat. Nice play out in right field, and that will be the end of the top of the 6th. On one hit,
but leave them on the
and they strand that runner. 1 hit, 1 stranded, 1 strikeout, no runs. It's 8-2. We'll take a quick break and be back.
I know, yeah. You're like, what up?
Here, please
Announce JumboCast is rebranding as PuppyCast. Retriever, Goldie. We've got the Doodle. Lots of good dogs.
good ball knowledge when it comes to dogs, Sebastian. But the jumbo,
And what are those dogs?
one of them being Caitlin Perucci.
Who's at the plate right now, and she really is the dog of this team.
As that ball right on cue is laced into the left center gap. All she does is inning. Man, Caitlin Perucci is on an absolute heater. I like this double, Sully. What do you think, Sebastian? It seems to drop it as we look at the dugout. I think that's pretty cool. I wonder what they do on turf fields.
Drop the dirt like the LeBron powder thing. You been getting the LeBron songs in your Instagram?
I can't say I have.
I got 11 in a row last night. There's some bangers out there, not gonna lie.
I saw the that 2-0 delivery misses inside to number 8 Haley Leimbach. They shook off and now returned to the game.
Yeah, it's good.
So,
to,
good to see her back out there.
Leimbach back in after that collision. She was shooken up at first, stayed on for a minute, looked like she was gonna continue playing, then was pinch ran for, but is now back up at
Laces one up the middle. The Jumbos are really swinging the bats well today. That's their
That return to the game from Limebach shows she really got that dog in her. And now our friend the Lab, he's really watching this game out here.
And we also have Cat up at the plate. Cat Kawabe. Dogs and a cat. That's good.
New motto for the team.
True.
Cats can be cool too.
Oh. Off-speed pitch. The 2-0 is in there for a strike. Count is now 2-1. 2 ducks on the pond here with no.
Runner to second base, wide open over there. Could really help prevent the double play and a potential force out over there.
Went back to the well in the off-speed for the 2-1. Sewell. Nice battle here between Ava Baisadi and Kat Kawabe. If Kawabe is able to come here for the Jumbos, that would be some extra. That ball is barreled into right field. Hovering under it is the no tag. Thought maybe Caitlin Perucci was going to now. Emma Tonys comes to the plate for her 4th AB of the game.
Yeah, ball's hit well, but not quite deep enough in a Perucci decided to tag up.
The first delivery to Tonys is a fastball down in the zone for ball 1. Oh. That slow lofting off speed freezes.
Completely caught off guard with that one. That's really the success of that pitch. You can't use it too much because then the hitter will find out and that ball will be mashed. But if you're not expecting it, it will just completely freeze you at home plate. A lot more speed on that one, but it is way outside.
That change of pace is definitely very challenging for the hitter. I mean, for my untrained eye, you see that one lofting in there, but it seems to be that that's maybe been the most effective pitch today. We haven't really seen any hard contact off of that.
For sure.
There it is again, that slow off speed this time in the dirt. Nice take. Tony swings through that one. Count is now full.
So again, despite a different pitcher being out on the mound for Bowdoin, not Hester who started the game, Tufts still using the similar strategy of really working these counts. As we see a walk right there, working down the pitch count, working up the arms of the opposing pitcher, and getting base runners, which we got right there. Now base is loaded as there will be a meeting on the mound with the coaching staff.
As the bases are loaded with 1 out, if Bowdoin wants any chance to crawl back into this one, they cannot afford to concede any more runs. Sarah Cullen is jumping with excitement as she looks into the dugout and takes a couple practice swings.
Is it excitement or shivering for a minute there? I don't know if you all heard that on the broadcast. Oh.
So no pitching change, just a conference.
The DP number 1, Sarah Cullen.
Cullen again didn't see much action at the plate last season. Started only 1 game, was mostly a pinch runner where she appeared in 29, but only had 5 at-bats.
Cullen does stand on the left side of the plate, which in a league like this where the vast majority of players are right-handed is a good switch-up. Pitchers, of course, we think of pitchers having more success against those of hitters of the same size as them or side as them. So like a right-handed pitcher and a right-handed hitter, would be an advantage to the pitcher. But I know from my experience, my limited experience playing baseball, when you're used to just seeing right-handed hitters, seeing a left-handed hitter, even if you're a right-handed pitcher, can be really difficult and kind of a switch-up because everything is mirrored.
Ooh. There's that slow off-speed pitch we've been talking about, just barely. This is, oh man. Sarah Cullen has been smiling this whole bat back. Gotta love that, just enjoying the moment, having fun on the field. Steps out and calls time now, awaiting the 3-0, the bases loaded and a big lead. Have to imagine this is probably going to be a take.
Yeah, no reason to go here.
She does take. Thought it was ball 4, but it catches the outside corner. Count now 3-1 for the sophomore utility player.
I think the ump might be a little cold. I think he wants to go home. I don't know about that call, but definitely a close pitch right there. And that one misses outside. No doubt about it. Run will come in.
That flips the lineup for the Jumbos. Sarah Cullen has done a good job of doing that, of flipping the lineup and setting up Ella Jimenez, who now comes to the plate with the bases juiced here and only 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. The Bows have an opportunity to tack on a bunch more runs.
Yeah, we saw in Jimenez's last at-bat that great double splitting the gap between left and center to bring in a couple runs. And she has a chance here to basically do that again, potentially even bring in a third run. She wants to clear the bases, which are just open. The game is already quite in favor of Tufts, so that would just open it wide up.
Actually, Sebastian, something I was just reminded of is there is a mercy rule. It's 8 after 6, so 1 more run will be the end of this one. Bella Jimenez has the opportunity to do that and seal a win in both games of the doubleheader.
Or she could just...
That on their bingo card, if anyone had dogs, walk-off walk. Surrounding the bases, but it's not going to matter as that will do it. Line them up and shake hands. The Jumbos. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure to be on the call and watch an exciting day of softball. Sebastian, any concluding thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think this was just a fantastic day for Tufts altogether at home. We've mentioned throughout the day in the broadcast, in this game, the other game, some of the struggles they've had in this season so far. Heard a lot of players struggling, but they came in this weekend and just they had one job and they got it done. They swept the doubleheader. First game looked great, scoring in all those 2-out situations, really with some clutch hitting. Second game, just an offensive onslaught, some great pitching from O'Connor. We saw Jimenez continuing to be that star that she is with a degree this season. And I think if you're a Tufts softball fan, this is a really promising day because it shows you that maybe the team we saw in those early season tournaments is not necessarily the team we're going to be seeing the rest of the season through conference play, which is a very good thing.
Absolutely well said. As the old adage goes, iron sharpens iron. It appears the hard competition has got us ready to go for conference play. Tufts starts off the year 2-0 in the NESCAC with 2 big wins against Bowdoin. Signing off for now, I've been Matthew Long, Sebastian Gold. Shout out